The call from beyond. Captain Maya Chen stood on the observation deck of the UES Thunderchild, watching the stars drift by. The massive warship was humanity's pride, a testament to how far they had come since joining the galactic community. Just 15 years since first contact, and already they had built ships that made other species nervous. Not that most aliens would admit it openly. Captain, Lieutenant Seto's voice crackled over the comm. We're picking up a signal. It's unusual. Chen tapped her wrist interface. Define unusual, Lieutenant. It's on an abandoned frequency band, sir. And it's repeating. Sounds desperate. Chen made her way to the bridge, the ship's artificial gravity making each step firm despite being 3 months into deep space patrol. The bridge was dimly lit, various consoles casting a blue glow over the crew's faces as they worked. Seto stood at communications, his fingers dancing across the holographic interface. Put it through, Chen ordered, settling into her command chair. A strange voice filled the bridge, melodic, but fractured with what sounded like fear. The translator struggled for a moment before converting. Anyone who can hear this. This is High Speaker Televon of the Alari Confederation. Our homeworld is under attack by the Vrax Dominion. They have already taken 3 colony worlds. The Galactic Council has abandoned us. They say we are too far from established routes. Please, we need help. The Vrax will be our homeworld in 14 standard cycles. We cannot withstand them alone. Our children. The message cut off abruptly before looping again. Location? Chen asked sharply. Triangulating now, Navigation Officer Patul replied. Appears to be from the cerulean expanse, approximately 22 light-years from our position. The Alari, Science Officer Dr. Rivera said thoughtfully. Crystalline exoskeletons, low-gravity evolution, pacifistic species. They voted against Earth's admission to the Galactic Council 5 years ago. Her tone was neutral, stating facts rather than accusation. And the Vrax? Chen asked. Insectoid predator species. Known for aggressive expansion and resource exploitation, Rivera replied. Classified as medium-gravity worlders. Hierarchical hive structure with specialized caste systems. XO Marcus Zhang leaned forward. So a pacifist species that didn't want us in their club is now begging for help against space bugs. Permission to speak freely, Captain. Lieutenant Reeves asked from the tactical station. Chen nodded. Let's remember the Alari weren't the only ones who voted against us. Half the council was afraid of Deathworlders. Not our fault we evolved on a planet that would crush most of them. Reeves crossed his arms. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't help. Chen studied the star map. Dr. Rivera, what do we know about Vrax attack patterns? They strip mine inhabited worlds, Captain. They're not just conquerors. They're exterminators. A heavy silence fell over the bridge. Send the message to Earth Command, Chen ordered. Request permission to investigate and respond. You want to help them? Zhang asked quietly. Chen's dark eyes reflected the stars on the view screen. We didn't leave Earth to watch civilizations burn. XO. She paused. And maybe it's time the galaxy saw what humans can do when we're not the enemy. 3 days later, the observation room of Earth's orbital command was crowded with military and civilian leadership. Admiral Hassan stood before the holographic display showing the Alari signal and stellar coordinates. The distress call appears legitimate, he concluded. Intelligence confirms Vrax fleet movements in that sector. Defense Minister Ortega shook her head. The Alari specifically cited our aggressive biology as grounds to exclude Earth from the Council. Now they want our help. With respect, Minister, Captain Chen said from her position near the wall screens, I doubt the Alari children about to die care much about political votes from 5 years ago. Admiral Hassan nodded. Captain Chen's ship is closest to the cerulean expanse. I propose we authorize a humanitarian mission. With warships. Ambassador Li raised an eyebrow. The Thunderchild battle group includes medical and evacuation vessels, Hassan replied. But yes, with warships, the Vraks don't respond to diplomatic overtures. President Alvarez, who had been silent until now, stood up. The room quieted immediately. 5 years ago, when half the galactic community called us dangerous primates and voted to keep us isolated, we had a choice, she said. We could have withdrawn, focused inward. Instead, we continued to reach out, establish trade, offer aid when disaster struck. She looked around the room. We did this not because it was politically advantageous, but because it was right. She walked to the hologram, studying the Alari homeworld. The galaxy sees us as predators because we evolved on a high-gravity, high-oxygen world with extreme seasons and dangerous fauna. They call Earth a death world, and us Deathworlders. Perhaps it's time they saw that strength used in their defense. She turned to Admiral Hassan. Authorize Operation Sanctuary. Captain Chen will lead the initial response while we prepare the main fleet. The Thunderchild dropped out of FTL at the edge of the Alari system, alongside 3 escort vessels. Captain Chen immediately ordered active scans, mapping the system. Vraks vessels detected, Lieutenant Reeves announced. 3 scout ships near the 4th planet. Have they spotted us? Chen asked. Negative. We're still at extreme range. Let's keep it that way. Set course for the Alari homeworld, minimal emissions profile. As they approached the crystalline planet, communications picked up multiple Alari signals. Chen authorized a narrow beam response on the same frequency as the distress call. This is Captain Maya Chen of the United Earth ship Thunderchild. We received your distress signal and are here to assist. Please respond. There was a long pause before a reply came through. Earth vessel, this is Defense Coordinator Nisvan. We did not expect humans to answer. The translator conveyed hesitation, perhaps embarrassment. We're moving to establish orbit around your world, Chen replied calmly. We need to coordinate defensive measures before the Vraks main fleet arrives. Another pause. Our orbital platforms will guide you to a safe approach vector. We thank you for coming. 4 hours later, Chen and a small delegation stood in the crystalline reception chamber of the Alari High Council. The aliens were tall and slender, with translucent exoskeletons that refracted light in beautiful patterns. They moved with careful, deliberate motions, the hallmark of beings evolved in a low-gravity environment. High Speaker Televan approached the human delegation. She was nearly 7 feet tall but looked fragile beside the compact, muscular humans. Captain Chen, her translator conveyed. The Alari Confederation extends gratitude for your response. Her crystalline form shifted colors slightly. Though I must admit, your presence causes biological discomfort among my people. Chen nodded. We understand. Humans appear predatory to many species, but today we're predators in your defense. The High Speaker's colors shifted again. 5 years ago, I voted against Earth's full council membership. I believe Deathworlders too dangerous to integrate into galactic society. She paused. I may have been incorrect in my assessment. Before Chen could respond, an Alari rushed into the chamber, colors flashing in what Chen recognized as their equivalent of alarm. High Speaker, Vrak's advance fleet has entered the system. 11 warships detected. Chen turned to her team. Looks like negotiations will have to wait. Lieutenant Reeves, signal the Thunderchild. Prepare for immediate engagement. She looked at the frightened Alari. Show us what we're dealing with. The High Speaker led them to a command center where holographic displays showed the approaching Vraks vessels, angular, chitinous-looking ships moving in perfect formation. The Vraks have already taken 3 of our colony worlds, Defense Coordinator Nisvan explained. They strip the planets of resources and leave nothing alive. Our defensive capabilities are limited. Chen studied the display. What about civilian evacuation? We've moved most civilians into underground shelters, but a full planetary evacuation is impossible. We have 9 million Alari on this world. Chen activated her comm unit. XO John. Deploy all ships in defensive pattern Epsilon. Coordinate with Alari orbital platforms. She turned to the high speaker. We will hold them back as long as possible. Earth's main fleet has been mobilized, but they won't arrive for at least 7 days. 7 days, the Alari leader repeated softly. Can 4 ships hold back the Vrax for 7 days? Chen's expression hardened. You've never seen Deathworlders fight, have you? No, admitted the high speaker. Then watch carefully, Chen replied, because the Vrax haven't either. Deathworld fury. The bridge of the Thunderchild was a hive of controlled activity as Captain Chen returned aboard. Tactical displays showed the approaching Vrax fleet, 11 warships in tight formation, moving with mechanical precision. Status report, Chen demanded, taking her command chair. All ships in defensive position, XO John reported. Alari orbital platforms linked to our targeting systems. They have limited weaponry but excellent sensor arrays. Dr. Rivera, what can you tell me about Vrax ship capabilities? The science officer brought up analysis on the main screen. Their vessels are heavily armored but relatively slow to maneuver. They rely on overwhelming firepower in numbers rather than tactical flexibility. They've never fought humans before, Lieutenant Reeves added. Their battle algorithms won't account for our tactics. Chen nodded. Then let's show them something new. Lieutenant Sato, open a channel to all Earth vessels. The communications officer nodded. Channel open, Captain. All ships, this is Captain Chen. The Vrax expect us to follow standard Galactic Council engagement protocols, maintaining distance, exchanging fire from fixed positions until one side withdraws or is destroyed. She paused. We're not going to do that. Execute hammer and anvil formation. Thunderchild will engage their lead vessels head-on while our escorts execute attack pattern Zeta. The plan was audacious, borderline reckless by the standards of most spacefaring races. But humans hadn't evolved on a death world by being cautious. As the Vrax fleet approached, the UES Thunderchild accelerated directly toward them, weapons charging. The maneuver clearly confused the Vrax, whose formation faltered slightly. They're adjusting, Reeves reported, trying to bring their main weapons to bear on our approach vector. Hard to port on my mark, Chen ordered. 3, 2, 1, mark. The massive warship veered suddenly, its inertial dampener straining as it pulled a maneuver that would have crushed crew members of almost any other species. Humans, evolved under Earth's punishing gravity, merely gripped their stations tighter. The Thunderchild sliced past the Vrax formation, unleashing a barrage of fire along their flank. Simultaneously, the 3 escort vessels attacked from different vectors, exploiting the gaps created by the Vrax's attempt to track the larger ship. 2 Vrax vessels sustaining heavy damage, Reeves reported, unable to keep the excitement from his voice. They didn't expect us to get that close. Don't celebrate yet, Chen cautioned. They'll adapt. And adapt they did. The Vrax ships regrouped quickly, forming a defensive sphere. But Chen had anticipated this. For 3 hours, the battle raged across the Alari system. Human ships executing maneuvers that defied conventional tactics, striking from unexpected angles, then withdrawing before the numerically superior force could respond effectively. From the Alari Command Center, High Speaker Taylor Vaughn and her council watched in astonishment. Impossible, whispered Defense Coordinator Nisvan. No ship should be able to withstand those G-forces. Deathworlders, another council member replied simply. By the 6th hour, 3 Vrax ships had been disabled, with 1 Earth vessel taking moderate damage. But the remaining Vrax forces were adapting to human tactics, their formations becoming more fluid. Captain, Sato's voice cut through the bridge noise. I'm detecting a large energy signature at the system's edge. It's enormous. Chen felt her stomach sink. The Vrax main fleet. No, Rivera interrupted, her eyes widening at her readings. It's Earth signatures. Multiple Earth signatures. The main view screen shifted to show a massive tear in space as 27 Earth vessels emerged from FTL, led by the dreadnought UES Leviathan, the largest warship humanity had ever built. Admiral Hassan's voice came through the comm system. "Captain Chen, I see you've started without us. Hope you don't mind the early arrival." Chen couldn't help but smile. "Not at all, Admiral. We were just warming them up for you." The arrival of Earth's main fleet changed the battle instantly. The Vrak's ships broke formation, attempting to retreat, but the human vessels, designed on a world where predators needed speed and endurance, easily outmaneuvered them. "The Vrak's main invasion fleet is still 4 days out," Admiral Hassan explained during their rapid tactical meeting. "We've brought enough firepower to hold this system and protect the Alari homeworld." "What about their colonies already under Vrak's control?" Chen asked. "That's Phase 2, Hassan replied with a grim smile. "Earth has authorized full liberation operations." When the Vrak's main fleet arrived 3 days later, they found not the easy conquest they had expected, but a fully prepared human battle group ready to engage. The ensuing battle lasted less than 12 hours. Human ships executed maneuvers that seemed to defy physics, their crews able to withstand key forces that would have incapacitated most other species. The Vraks, accustomed to overwhelming technologically inferior or physically weaker species, had no contingency for facing Deathworlders in combat. Their rigid command structure collapsed when Earth forces disabled their flagship, and their remaining vessels retreated in disarray. 2 weeks later, Captain Chen stood once again in the crystalline chamber of the Alari High Council. This time, she was accompanied by Admiral Hassan and Ambassador Li. "The Alari Confederation owes humanity a debt we cannot repay," High Speaker Televan stated formally. "You have saved not only our homeworld but have begun liberating our colonies. Your warriors fight with a ferocity we had feared, yet now are grateful for." Ambassador Li stepped forward. "Earth doesn't seek repayment, High Speaker. We seek partnership. The galaxy is vast and often dangerous. Perhaps it's time all species recognized that diversity of evolution creates strength, not threat." The High Speaker's crystalline form shifted through colors of agreement. "I have already communicated with the Galactic Council. I have recommended not only Earth's full membership but a permanent defense alliance. Others who once feared Deathworlders are reconsidering their position." Admiral Hassan nodded. "Fear is a natural response to the unknown. Earth was once afraid of what lay beyond our solar system, but we've learned that reaching out is better than withdrawing." As the formal meeting concluded, High Speaker Televan approached Captain Chen privately. "May I ask a personal question, Captain?" the alien leader inquired. "Of course. When you received our distress call, knowing we had opposed Earth's council membership, knowing we had feared your kind, why did you come?" Chen considered her answer carefully. "On Earth, we have a saying. The true measure of strength isn't how you treat your friends, but how you treat those who haven't been friendly." She met the alien's crystalline gaze. "Humans didn't evolve on a death world just to survive, High Speaker. We evolved to thrive, to build, to connect. Yes, we can fight with a ferocity that frightens other species, but we would rather use that strength to protect than to conquer." The High Speaker's colors shifted in what Chen had learned was their equivalent of thoughtful reflection. "Perhaps that is why you survived your death world," Televan said finally. "Not merely because you are strong, but because you learned that strength has purpose beyond survival." As Chen returned to the Thunderchild that evening, she looked out at the stars. The same stars that had witnessed humanity's long, brutal evolution on Earth. The same stars that had seemed so distant and unreachable for so much of human history. Now those stars watched as the galaxy learned what humans had known all along, that being forged in adversity created not just strength, but empathy. That those who survive the harshest conditions often understand best the value of compassion. The Deathworlders had answered the call, and the galaxy would never be the same.